I'd spent a career really working in the Arctic, particularly with the Americans in the Canada Basin on their ships. I had worked in the Arctic on a two-ship experiment with the Russians and the Germans, and I knew very clearly that you're not getting close to the Canadian margin on a ship. It couldn't be done. So my involvement would be to say, we're not using ships, we're going to do it from the ice. In the beginning of the UNCLOS program, I was the chief scientist in the Arctic on the ice camp work and on the ship-going programs. For UNCLOS, what you're trying to do to get the maximum claim possible, you have to look at bathymetric highs that are attached to your margin, and they're both attached. The ones that are significant for us, the Lomonosov Ridge and the Alpha Ridge, are both attached north of Ellesmere Island. So this is the area we had to begin our work. And remember, it's cold in the Arctic. You're putting small instruments the size of a lunchbox on the ice. You have to find them again, and they have to work. And we had extremely bad weather conditions. We finally get a day or two of flying. We put the instruments out, it storms for 5 days. The ice moves. You have to find those things again. We didn't get them all out. We had a few in a base camp. We turned the instruments on. They were still working. If they had not been working, we would have got no data out of the first experiment. There was actually a very small number of people that could do this job. And the Geological Survey of Canada, both the part that's in Dartmouth and the part that's in Ottawa, had very particular expertise. If you want a specialist to fix your computer, that's easy to find. Finding a seagoing tech with 30 years of Arctic experience is extremely difficult. The Louis is very important to the UNCLOS program because we're working in heavy ice, and it's Canada's largest icebreaker. It has 23,000 horsepower and a bubbler system, so we're able to tow gear behind it to collect data. And also, one of the interesting things, the Healy is a much newer ship, but it's built on more military standards, and it isn't near as comfortable. When people could exchange between the Louis and the Healy, they generally like to stay on the Louis as long as possible.